Now, for the province's response to the impact of severe weather, we're joined by the province's MEC for Co-Operative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs, MEC Speed Mashilo. MEC, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Do you have a sense at this moment of the scale and extent of the damage caused by the floods in the province?
Well, good evening to the listeners and the viewers. Look, as a province, we are prone to the rain and disasters. Currently, we have assessed about 28 schools, in the main coming from Bushbuck area, Nkomazi, and some part of Mpumalanga. That assessment we've already done, and we've communicated with Department of Education, because majority of our infrastructure, which is the road, are definitely affected to an extent that some of the schools are not accessible. I think after they've studied the report, they'll make a determination. But of course, the rain has not started now. We started the beginning of this year. And indeed, majority of rivers that are coming to Mpumalanga does affect us. We have Crocodile, we have Olifants River overflowing. We have checked the dams across the province that are beyond its own capacity, and we are contemplating to reducing some of these dams, and want to call upon our people that they are just at the side of the rivers to be cautious. Our dams, including our rivers, our bridges that are low, they must be careful all the time. And this is what we are calling our people to be alert about these damages. So far, we've got 18 facilities, which about 15 are male and 3 are female. And together with the team that I've established, we are working around the clock to minimize more damages.
Now, we've been seeing images and reports coming in on very specifically the Komati River and the Crocodile River overflowing quite extensively, so to the extent that there are fears of hippos, which we know are quite dangerous in parts like Bushbuck Ridge and Skukuza, where hippos are being seen visibly by residents, and of course the fear that crocodiles might be able to flow out of those rivers and posing a threat to human life there. Has there been any specific intervention with regards to that?
Well, the team that we've put together precisely is to look those items, in particular Crocodile River, because it cut across majority of our villages and it does pose some challenges and danger. So that's why we want our people to be alert. In the evening, people must refrain to be all over so that at the end of the day, we don't have these casualties. But so far, we haven't had any difficulties except those were caused by the storm damages that I've already referred to earlier on. But insofar as those animals are concerned, we think our team that we've put together, it will be able to deal with that situation.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the Kruger in particular, because that's a really sad story. This time of the year is a high traffic time of the year, particularly for the Kruger Park. And Mpumalanga, of course, by extension, benefits greatly from that sort of tourism traffic. Now, we're going to be speaking a little bit later on to the Maruleng local municipality mayor on, of course, the reports we're getting out of Hoedspruit about tourists being trapped there and having to be transported by road to a different airport so that they can fly out, presumably the airport in Skukuza. But how adversely affected has the tourism been over the last week or so in the province?
Our majority of the roads that go into those parks, they are better off. So far, their bridges are quite high. That's why we believe the going to Kruger could be accessible. The danger or the challenge could be inside the Kruger because of the Olifants River, etc. But the roads going there so far is good. We've looked, the N4 is well good up to Malelani Gates and all these areas. I've as well looked the Skukuza site. The roads are still okay going into the park. The challenge, as I said, could be inside the park. For now, we're not yet affected by those areas.
Yeah. MEC, let's talk about your interprovincial cooperation, particularly with Limpopo, because this affects the northeastern part of South Africa, which spreads across Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Have you been coordinating with your neighboring provinces around particularly the damage that has been caused there? And one would assume to an extent perhaps even Eswatini.
Well, we have not communicated yet with the Eswatini in particular and Mozambique. We have been inconsistent communicating with the Limpopo as the neighboring, province, and we are equally coordinated by the National Department of Disaster, which so far I think they've done well. But we were discussing this evening that our near countries such as Eswatini as well as Mozambique must be communicated as well. You remember majority of these rivers will eventually go into Indian Ocean via Mozambique. So Mozambique is going to be adversely affected as opposed to Swaziland.
Yeah, MEC, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. MEC Speed Mashilo, the MEC of Co-Operative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs in Mpumalanga, talking to us there about the effect of the floods in the province.